A frustrating day. Probably didn't get quite what we deserved from that, but it's another defeat. How do you feel after that?
Exhausted. Absolutely exhausted. I let the boys know at half-time that I was really not happy. Probably the first time since I've been at the club that I walked out of there with a raging headache from half-time, because it was just... I just had to let them have it, to be fair. In layman's terms, I just said it wasn't good enough. I just felt we never give ourselves a good platform. We give ourselves a mountain to climb with, yet again, a decision that went against us. Reece Lovett is adamant he won the ball, but from where I looked, it could have quite easily been a penalty, so I'm not going to argue that. And then we were I just felt they were very direct, just kept putting it on us. We kept giving away free kicks and giving them momentum. They're long throws. They're just a very organised, basic, experienced team. Don't think I see them really try and pass the ball too much, but they had a threat and a bit of pace. They come with a game plan, and that was to try and bully us up. And I felt they probably looked like they were doing that at half-time. We had a good phase, probably around about the 40th minute. We started getting the ball down and had one or two shots just around the edge of the box. But I thought up until that, they just played real high-intensity pressure football. And it's very difficult because, as I said, they were stepping on everything, because this year is proving to be a bit of a problem for us, and I ain't going to lie. But both teams have to play on it, so that's not an excuse towards the result. I just think for us personally, we were getting back to him for their direct balls, and they had their midfield, which I think out-battled our midfield in there. Thought we were quite poor. And then obviously, same again, the bane of our life, which I've got to look to sort out. We didn't have enough up front. I just don't think we hold the ball up. We don't buy any time. We're not clever. They always seem to dispossess us. It sometimes does look like men against boys. And that was pretty much what I felt, being 1-0 down at half-time. Although, for the amount of long throws and corners and free kicks that they gained in the first half, probably double figures, I would have thought. We still only went in 1-0, so I thought we dealt with that quite well. And I'd like to see back the goal, because I think there is some couple of howlers in there for that supposedly penalty. But I'm going to say it's a pen from where I was, because I have to be honest. Second half, I thought we just threw everything at them. Played a lot better football. And I just felt it was just the case. I mean, the keeper's pulled off 2 or 3 great saves in there, and we've had them fizz past the post, we've had them tip round the post, we've had everything. Davies had a great header where he's headed it, coming onto it. Great header. I'd have to see them back again. But listen, they defended for their lives second half, but they still had outballs. They still had outballs and threats that, if they did get on the second ball in midfield, or the defenders just turned us around, they did cause us problems. But Reece had nothing to do really second half. But yet again, and I'm going to have to say it, there's been a massive decision in there, which will go back out on the video again. And these officials have got to get to grips with it, because to me, again, that is a stonewall penalty, dragging Dave down in the box, and we still, yet again, will not get a referee to give us a penalty, but we've copped one today ourselves. So I said we must have had 4 or 5 penalties this year, and I'm sure we've had 4 or 5 shouts for penalties this year, and we ain't got nothing. So same again as I said about the supporters. Yeah, we wasn't good first half, but I've got to be honest, I felt the supporters clapped us off again second half, because we kept going. And I'll be pleased when I get some of them back. And then I just said to some of them there that I need to bring in better than what we've got. So there'll be more movement over the next week or so, that some will be going. Because as I just said, I just can't keep giving you benefit of the doubts. So, it will be about moving it about again. We all know that we need a centre forward, or maybe 2. Yeah. And we also probably need something different in midfield as well. Some more legs, people who are going to run hard, and help the defenders from having to have a constant 40 minutes of balls just being put in on their heads and down the sides. But But as I said, we got in at 1-0 half time, and I was fairly relieved we went to a 4-1, 4-1 just to stem it. But we'd done that. We got in at half time at 1-0, and then second half we probably had 70% of the game. But yet again, it won't fall for us. It won't go in. Don't know why. And yet, when you need a decision, maybe it'll give us a little bit of the rub of the green, or the right decisions at the right time. It hasn't happened. And just before I've done my interview, that's what you lot was all talking about. Yet again, another bad decision. I don't know what more to say, Ollie.
A couple of big games coming up. St Albans City next week, Enfield following up off the back of that. Just above the relegation zone as it stands, and I know it's still early in the season, but do those become bigger games, bearing in mind that you can't talk about 6 pointers at this stage of the season? I think it's fair to say, but do you feel like they are must-win games, or just to stem away any threat of dropping down into that at this part of the season?
Well, you're not picking up points, especially from home. You've always got to have that fear factor. And this is the position I really didn't want us to be putting ourselves in. But as I said, when you're not winning games, every game becomes a 6-pointer. But don't forget the people you're playing with a 6-pointer need the points as well. So they become tougher games. And at the moment, just seeing where we are and the personnel that I'm trying to win games with, I think it's a time for us to try and improve in personnel. Because I certainly don't see us scoring goals with what we got here, and I'm just going to be brutally honest. So that's something I really need, and it's not that I haven't tried. I have working my socks off to get a forward in, and it's just very hard because a lot of these pro clubs don't want to let them out. They want to keep them around, as you well know. Yeah, we've had that conversation. So a lot of pro clubs don't want that, and trying to get strikers that are available. Hopefully, if some of them have gone out in the FA Cup today, they might release one or two that might allow us to try and grab a centre forward, because I'm not blaming that first half performance on the centre forwards, but I am saying they don't bring enough to help us when we're under siege. It's too off the cuff for me. Last year, we had the likes of Sonny Fish when I come here. We brought to the club, and it made both of my forwards look absolutely like idiots, if I'm being honest, because he was a runner, strong, score goals, run down the sides of people, and a great lad, and that helps us then reset behind that. But when it's just a constant ball in for 40 minutes at the first half, you're probably going to concede, and I think we've done very well not conceding today in open play. Very well, or set pieces. But yet again, I'm talking about a stupid penalty we've given away, and I'm talking about a stone waller that we can't get, and the referee was yet in great view. But as I just said to the lads, it's hard for me to just keep going on about these decisions, because they're such big decisions at the important part of the game. And with the score, we lost one on Tuesday night, penalty that wasn't given with Martel. We've had one today, penalty not given. Both games are at 1-0. It's killing us. But as I said, listen, we've got to just keep working hard, and I'll stick with the ones that I know will stick with us, and maybe I just need to just clear up a few spaces again and just make sure we get a little bit different in here. We're probably missing a real dogged midfielder that puts himself about and really dogs, I think, to help the likes of Genie in there. I thought we were a little bit lightweight in there. I don't think we won enough first and seconds first half. And I certainly think we need someone who can hold the ball up. If we hold the ball up, we get out. But if you don't hold the ball up, you're going to keep having to do what we're doing defensively. And then it makes it hard for your midfielders, and it makes it hard for your forwards, because all they're working off is scraps and lost causes. So, yeah, as I said, another defeat. Yes, people are going to start saying we're going to get sucked into relegation, and listen, mathematically, the league says where it is. I know it's early on in the season, but that's what it says. And that's what I just said to them. Look, you're bringing on a lot of pressure here. And I'm not sure I'd want to go to a relegation battle with some of them. And that's the fact. That is the fact. And I know it's harsh, and I'm not going to name anybody individually, but some of them have got to come off in that first half performance and say, how did I do? How did I contribute? Could I have done the basics better? Could I run harder? Could I went up against me, whoever I'm up against? Could I have made a bit more of an impression on that? And I think they've just come to the game today and just gone for the motion. So, listen, as I said, me and Kev, we don't need as many footballers here at the minute, to be fair, because the pitch is going to start changing. I think we just need some real good players that just do their jobs well. And hopefully then with that, win the battle, you can start playing a little bit more football and hopefully then go on to win the game. But at the moment, I won't knock us for second half, but it's all too late. We're coming from behind all the time to have to try and scrap out for a result. But a little bit of lady luck in there, big decision for us. Keeper's probably got to be man of the match for definitely one of them saves. Then obviously we would have come here and we would have been talking about possibly drawing it, or maybe talking about winning the game. But unfortunately, yet again, getting a bit boring, Ollie. But we're talking about narrow defeats.
Cheers, well, unlucky today.
Cheers, pal.